We've got a very special guest on the show, David Paige. He's the managing director of Legal Fee Advisors. David, how are you?
Hey, I'm great. How are you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Good. I wanted to have you on the show because I love your product and what you're doing. And basically what you do is you kind of navigate through and help people negotiate legal fees because nobody thinks about that because everybody is so intimidated by lawyers that if they get a bill from a lawyer and it's outrageous, they just pay it. And you actually kind of navigate through that and tell them, hey, you can negotiate, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, Edward, it's an amazing thing. People will go out and try and figure out a way to save on their cell bill a little bit, but when it comes to their lawyer, they run right in the other direction.
Right, because they're scared. And I think that this, and you and I talked about this before, I think this is a cultural phenomenon that, especially in America, Americans will not negotiate at all. Now, if this was in any other culture besides America, you just negotiate because that's what people do. And it's expected of you to negotiate. But here in America, number one, we won't negotiate, and no way we're going to negotiate with a lawyer, right?
Yeah, it's true. So many people, even people who are quite well off, or people in big corporations, many of them have a problem talking to their lawyers about what they're charging, even if they get the bill and they just drop it to the floor because they're in such shock.
Right. And I know that, for instance, now with hospitals, I was just watching this thing the other day on the news about how now, you can negotiate with your hospital bill. And a lot of people, and again, people didn't used to ever think they could. So now they get their hospital bill and they call and they negotiate with the hospital. And for the most part, if you say something, you can get it reduced. And that kind of carries over to anything. If you go to the store, a lot of times you can actually negotiate. And I think maybe this is the last bastion. This is the last frontier, which is negotiating legal fees, right?
It's true. One of the base things to do that large corporations do is they always get an estimate out front on what it's going to cost. I'm amazed at how many people just don't say to their lawyer, so how much will it cost me, and would you put that in writing, please?
Right. So what's the best thing that people can do? You're probably better off at the beginning doing this, right, than later.
But much better off at the beginning. A lot of people, when they shop for legal services, they ask what the rate is, and there's a few things wrong with that. First of all, there's not one rate. There are a couple of rates. There's a rate for the main partner, then associates, and then others in the firm. And you need to get that in writing. But the other thing is you need to get some kind of estimate as to what the thing is going to cost as it goes along, and get a promise that if the rate goes up or the amount goes up, they're going to talk to you about it.
Now, is it better off to have a lawyer on retainer or pay him as he goes along? What's better for people?
I think it really depends upon their need. There are some types of legal representation, like if you're a small business and you have the same things come up over and over again, where it's not a bad idea to have a lawyer on retainer. It's a good relationship to build. What I mean by retainer is you pay them a certain amount every month for a certain amount of work. But for a lot of people, they're much better off just if they've got a problem, go in talking to at least one or two law firms, even if you like a certain lawyer, getting some perspective, and getting in writing transparency. You want to know what you're getting, just like if you hire someone to do anything else in your life, that's a big deal.
So you say also don't sign a retainer agreement unless you truly agree with it, and also get an estimate and require updates during the whole process, right?
That's exactly true. What some people do is they depend upon their lawyer if it's a litigation, and the litigation can be lots of things. It can have to do with divorce or custody. It could have to do with a partner in a small business who's upset with with what's going on with their other partner. Get the lawyer not only to tell you what's happening, but whether or not the costs are changing. That way, when you get a bill, you're not shocked.
And then, look, once you get your bill, let's say you didn't do any of this stuff, okay, and you got the bill, and you freak out. What do you do? What's the best way to kind of navigate through this?
Well, the basic answer to the question, just the first thing is, you have to do something. Ignoring the bill is a very bad idea. The best thing to do is to get some information from some people who understand this subject. Unfortunately, there aren't a lot of consultants out there or people out there who will just talk to regular people about their legal bills. We're one of them. There are a few others out there. And then many times, if you go to the local bar association in the form of a mediation or the form of a short arbitration, you can fix things that are really out of whack. Sometimes even a phone call does it.
Right, because again, I think that people just have this certain level of fear when it comes to lawyers. I think, again, people would never think to negotiate, and I think that comes from like a deep-seated cultural thing and the fact that we are intimidated by lawyers, that we never want to ask, the basic questions like, am I getting my money's worth? And this bill's too high, man. Like, look, this thing is too high. I didn't expect this. Like, what can you do here? And I think that if you do that, probably most lawyers will, probably negotiate with you. And I think it's great that, you're doing this because most people, again, I don't think they even think about this at all, So when I heard about your service, when it was brought to my attention, I thought that is just genius. I think it's kudos to you for coming up with it. And you're an attorney, and so I think it's just great that you brought this up. And it's a great service for people because I think most people don't realize that they can do that, right?
Absolutely. What you need to do is have a talk with your lawyer right when you're getting started. How many people are going to work on this? Who's going to do what? What's their rate? Stay updated with it. And if you do get in trouble, get some help, and you can work it out. Most lawyers are pretty good people. If you just talk to them, talk it through with them, many times you can get it fixed.
Now, how do people so if people want, they can go to you, right? They can go to your service, which is legalfeeadvisors.com, correct?
That's where they can go, yes. Or they can just email us at info@legalfeeadvisors.com too.
Wow. Again, very informative, really good stuff. I think you have a home run on your hands with this product, and I hope that more and more people, take advantage. And for all the people out there listening, I think this is, this is really great. I mean, it really is, because you can kind of take charge of your life and your legal fees because, again, people don't ever think about that. They just are so freaked out about it, and they don't want to talk to a lawyer. But you just have to ask, right, David? You just have to ask.
You have to, as with many things, in when you're trying to work with a professional, the best thing to do is to get as much information up front as you can, get it in writing, and if things change in the cost, don't just sit back. Lean forward, take a phone call, or get some information from people like us, but most of all, do something.
Right. All right. So, David Paige, your email is dpage@legalfeeadvisors.com. And if people want to have any questions for you, they can go to legalfeeadvisors.com, right?
You betcha. And I really thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for the service. I appreciate it, my man.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, David. Thank you.